Good morning, everybody. This is Doretha Sampson. This is my video for discussion board 2. Um, Thinking about STEM, reading the article STEM in early learning, working with 3 to 5 year olds. How I apply STEM is in my centers. All my centers are set up to promote learning. My blocks promote learning how to build and construct and math and manipulatives. You can also count blocks and manipulatives. You can use counting bears. We have puzzles. We have connectors. We have all types of interactive, well, not actually interactive, well, I guess you could say interactive stuff that students can use their fine motor skills to practice and learn. Our science, we have a lot of stuff in our science area. We have magnets, magnifying glasses, a globe. We have our pet Herman the crab, and we have dinosaurs and wild animals and farm animals, and we have all kind of interesting stuff over there that the kids really love. Our microscope. We also have our art center, and we also have our technology where we use iPads, where the kids are able to use iPads. I actually have pictures of my kids on the iPad interacting with learning their letters and their numbers and colors. The reason why this is important is because living in the time that we live in now, technology and STEM, it's just became a big part of our world. Everything now that we deal with learning through computers and engineering, and all this deals with numbers and some kind of technology. I mean, you can't even go to the grocery store now without using some form of technology to check yourself out, or they're checking you out. The banks, they have the new system where you can actually take your card and just scan your card and go into your bank account without sticking your card into the machine. And even at all the major stores, you can use your card to go in and scan your card, just tap it, boom, and you're done. You don't even have to do a lot of the stuff that we used to do in the past. And the reason why STEM for early learning is important is because science, technology, engineering, math is just going to advance as we move forward into the future. So it's very important that our children learn and get curious about STEM and want to learn more and move forward in their learning and grow with learning, because many of the careers now are focused in STEM. I can imagine in the future that the majority of jobs are going to be STEM related in one way or another. Reading our STEM in early learning, something I read through chapter 14 through 19 talks about how in the science section, and this is the part I'm talking about, is the science section, how getting students in curiosity built in science, getting them their knowledge built in science gets their curiosity going and makes and assists them in wanting them to get to learn more and get involved. And what I love about science in early childhood is because this gives the kids not only a chance to use their fine motor skills in constructing something scientific, they're also they're working together in the centers, and that's a key thing. They're learning to work together and come up with questions. Well, why did that do that? How did that happen? What would happen if I do this? Would this change anything? And that's what I love about science. And this is something that if you get them to ask the simple questions, why, what, how, it leads to further down the road building on more complex questions and answering these complex questions with just the simple knowledge that they started learning in early learning. And this is why I'm a big supporter of all STEM, but science is something that I just really love because it's so fascinating to do things. Because sometimes when you're doing science, let's be honest, it doesn't always work out the way we plan. Just like today with my activity, didn't work out the way I planned because unfortunately I left work yesterday and forgot my big magnet, but I will be able to demonstrate a little bit. Sometimes it works out perfectly. That's the thing about science. You got to keep working at it and finding out right combination that's going to work and work out the bugs, I guess you would say, literally speaking, of why it didn't work. One thing that I teach with science is the hand washing skill, and I taught that in another class that I did for school, where I showed the kids how we put water in a pot and pepper and put soap on it, and we talk about the importance of hand washing. And I say, okay, well, why did that pepper run to the side like that when I dropped that dish detergent? What do you think happens to your hands when you put water and soap on them? What's happening to the dirt on your hands? These are things that just instill with the importance of understanding what happens when you do something in science. Another thing I like to do is bubbles. All my kids love bubbles. And I have to be honest, I'm a big kid. I love bubbles. But something I love to do is we like to make bubbles in our classroom. A project that I did was I took some water and put it in a cup with some dish detergent. And I'm a firm believer dish detergent is key in science. Putting dish detergent in the cup and giving them a straw, and they blew bubbles. And I said, well, how did that happen? Why did that happen? And their minds are just so involved, and they're so curious, and they're like, why did this happen, Mr. Aretha? Why did that happen? Blah blah. So it's great learning. But the project that I wanted to show you right now that relates to STEM and what we're talking about this week, and why students coming to centers and getting involved and working together is so important, is because it promotes learning. It's fun, and many of my kids go home and they tell their parents, Baba, we did this, and my parents are calling, what we got doing today? Because my cow come home and they were talking about this, and I didn't know what to do. And of course too, I'm a big believer in letting my parents know, hey, if you're interested, I don't mind sending these projects home with instructions, because these kids, once they do it at school, they want to go home and show everybody. But real quick, something I do is I like to tell stories. So relating to the story Little Engine That Could, how the little engine kept trying to go up the hill despite how small he was. This is my story about the little butterfly. The little butterfly is sad because he's scared he don't know how to fly. He's never flown before and he's scared. So he meets a little friend named the caterpillar who said he was scared because he didn't never think he could ever crawl but once he learned how to crawl, he just kept on crawling. So butterfly said, well, you know what, if you can crawl, I can learn to fly. So the butterfly, he's not moving, but he keeps thinking, oh, I can do this, to eventually, after a few tries, the butterfly begins to fly. And this is just so fun. It's exciting. The kids are going, how did you do that? And plus, it's building. They're not only just using science, they're engineering, because they're having to build this, and they're using their fine motor skills. And I think it's just a cute little quick activity that kids will just enjoy and keep wanting to do for a long time. And with knowing my little kids, they'll probably try to find different ways to add to it. But hey, that's the whole point. Learn, add, keep building knowledge. Thank you.